I can just, can I go? Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a Glazed webinar. Hope all of you can hear me. Today we are going to talk about the efficient way of managing a facade deliverables in India. Just to introduce myself, I am Selvam Ramanathan. My experience is mainly into building facades over 25 years. And I hail out of Singapore, and presently I am working in India. So here what I'm going to do is we will be conducting this forum in 4 sections in 4 months, and we will go ahead with the presentation first. Okay. To give you an idea about the forum brief, so as you see here in this slide, we have 4 sections which will be rolled out in 4 months. So today we will be talking about the concept stage of a building, and the remaining 3 sections we will cover it in the next 3 months. So the section will go like this. I will finish my presentation in the next 35-40 minutes, and then I will take up your questions as much as possible. So basically what I am going to discuss today is how a building facade can be visualized at the concept stage of a building. So we go into detail now. Section 1 I call it as a concept stage. To make it simple, I have just taken 4 of headings to it. First of all, how a facade is getting born. We have architect and a designer who are the visionaries. They dream, they just visualize a building, and they just start drawing it in a paper and start doing the concept, start doing the masking, start doing the layouts. Depends on the requirement given by the client. So how a facade contractor will be useful in a project if we start during the concept itself. All of you who are participating today mostly are from India, I believe, and all of you know how the facades are done today in India. Facades will come into play only after the structure is completed. Until then we will be waiting, and finally one fine day will come where we will be required to finish the facade of the building at no time. The main problem what we see here is the understanding about facade itself for most of the client or designers. See, by starting early, what are the advantages we have and how we can design good facades in India. This is what I am going to run through. So we will be covering this 4 via a case study. I just taken one of a sample project I have done in India some 5-6 years back with my previous organization. So on that project I will brief you how we managed to do this facade much more economically at a faster pace, but to a detail where you can see it later how complicated it is. So I take this project, it is in India. If you see the building in your screen, this was the first cut of designer's view which came to us as a masked model. And if you see this model, it looks like just a bit of graphic art, but it's more than art. It is a building which is engineered to perfection using softwares which we will not be able to digest today, whether it can be used in our industry. They used softwares which are like commonly used in space building programs, and masking is done with a software which does only NURB modeling. So the whole process is done at the concept stage. This is a concept visual what you see in your screen now. So this concept was brought forward, and the designer has come with this idea to say, yes, this is a plot, this is how we are going to build. So what happened thereafter? This is another view, which he has created in a rendering form. So he has done the layout and he masked the building, and it is still in the concept stage. It's not yet started off the ground. So step one, what he did, because the job is so complicated and it requires a lot of input, he started the building by giving briefing of what was his thought process. See, the rendering what you see on screen is just tells nothing, but if you go closer, what you see as a white color there is a screen. See, the briefing he gave, because he is a designer who visualized this project, and if you read on the right in the small box, it's a simple double skinned facade, which you see a glass behind, which is the inner skin, which is with the complete glaze. And externally, if you see, we have a beautiful stainless steel. Designer, because he is not aware of the feasibility of building this with metal, he has taken some suggestion for himself, and he has come out with an option of using stainless steel embossed panel. It means he is taking a 20 mm solid sheet of stainless steel, and then he is trying to machine this pattern out of it. So roughly for this building, we will be using tons and tons of steel. We have calculated at the time somewhere around closer to 10,000 tons of stainless steel. If you can understand, where more than half of it will be machined out. So there's a briefing he has given. What is his idea? So then what he did, he said, okay, this is what I want to do, how we go forward. So this is further closer look of the panel. I'm just taking one component only of the facade for my discussion today, because this is the complicated one on the whole facade, complicated element of the facade. So I'm just taking this for discussion. See, so he has done his rendering, that what you see is a real rendering, and then is a closer look of the panel what he wanted to achieve there. This is the main highlight of the whole building. As you are aware, once you finish the structure, the next component, the critical component, structural element of a building is the main facade of the building. But unfortunately, we don't put too much emphasis on it today, to leave it to the fag end of the project, and we suffer, where we have to rush the projects, where we have to cut down the time frames. So we are not allowing enough time for anybody to achieve the dream of the visionary, who is the architect, who is the designer. So how we can get over it? So the project brief came to us. If you look at the first paragraph, it is a simple unitized wall with a high-end acoustic low-E glass, which is the inner skin. This is a curtain wall, 100% floor-to-floor curtain wall. And there is a cavity behind the wall, which is in front of the wall for maintenance purpose. And externally is the skin, what you just saw, the stainless steel skin, which acts as a shading device for the whole building, as well as it acts as a texture to the building. If you look at the building formation in the few slides before, you can see how it forms a texture. So it is an art, as well as it acts as an energy saving element. So what architect did, he felt he needs someone, a facade contractor, who can really build this building in future to be part of his concept stage. Why he has to do that? A simple reason, because it's so complicated. By detailing out, you will not be able to convince himself to achieve the detail what he wanted. So he wanted someone who got experience to build it really as part of his team. So he engaged a facade contractor along with so many consultants. You can see like we had an acoustic consultant in the team, a leads consultant, thermal, material, energy. They all were being assigned with different tasks. So he built up the concept, he had his idea, the masked building was there. Then he engaged all consultants to do the documentation and do a live study at the site. So they all stationed at site in the background and they started doing all sort of study. Example, the acoustics consultant have set up a mobile lab at the site to record all the surrounding sounds and other things, because this project is situated next to one railway station. So they did a live recording of a complete situation, and then a material consultant came from abroad. He made a tower, 30-meter tower at the job site, started understanding the pollution level around the site. And an energy consultant, he started understanding the nomenclature of the surrounding. See, normally when we do modeling, what we do, we take a building. When you want to do an energy model, we just mask the building, we put it in a software and we run the sunlight analysis or daylight analysis, whatever. But most of the time we find we were not able to get the correct result as predicted by the software because we don't model the complete surrounding. Say example, I am putting up this building which is surrounded by tall towers. So literally the building will be shaded by the other buildings. So they did a live study, checked the model, and then they started documenting the complete process. So at the concept stage, all these consultants were engaged to do a documentation which includes a facade consultant as well as part of the team. So there are two things you have to watch here. One, a facade contractor was engaged straight away by the architectural firm along with the client to start understanding the buildability of the facade. It means the facade contractor was engaged to study the complete material, how we can build it, because it's so much of complicated work. So they engaged the contractor to start studying the details. And facade consultant was engaged to work out on the documentation, which is the right process. A facade consultant comes to the board. What he does, he starts the review of the detail what is produced by the facade contractor during the concept. Also, his duty is to provide the quality control statements, method statement and auditing process. So he started doing the documentation. So this is how we started the project. So when the team was engaged, the next step what happened is we did a concept study. Sorry, there is one image which is there. I will just shrink this image. So if you see, there's a simple thermal model which has grown up by the size. So I'll take that out and okay, we are back. So if you see, there's a small thermal model. They have done daylight analysis by, it is in the wrong place. So all the documentations and parallel studies were prepared by all consultants, and initial feasibility study was carried out as well. You know, everyone came back to tell, okay, to do this project of this magnitude in this place, these are the various factors which is going to affect. So a consultant team was formed during the concept stage itself, immediately when the designer came with this vision. And as a role of a facade contractor, what he did, he started preparing a detailed construction program which involved all possible iteration and combination. See, if you look at the whole building, if I just remember exactly to the number, the screen what you see on outside, it was like a designer saree. As per the design done by the modeler and the designer, the facade contractor have to make 6,748 roughly unique panels. It means each panel is different to each other. So we are talking about a massive designer facade which required a lot of work to be done at the concept stage to tell the designer and the client whether it is feasible to be built or whether it is viable to be built. So once we reviewed the document and everything was put together after the meeting with client, we came to a conclusion. The client said, yes, I agree. Now the report says, yes, this building can be built. But before I proceed, I want to see a visual mock-up of what the designer have envisaged to see whether really it can be built. So we are still on the ground of the project. We have not started anything. So the client and the architect agreed to say, yes, we will build a live model of a portion of this building to understand the material, to understand the commercials, to understand the time required. So we are going live before even the project started to build a complete mock-up. So all the documentation was carried forward to a mock-up stage. So we prepared a complete mock-up review, which is, I believe it is a 3-story sort of temporary mock-up structure was done, where the drawing, a detail has been prepared, approved with the materials. We started it. So the first process we started, if you see here, gone back, if you see on the screen, we have some dies and we have some drawing on the screen. So what you see there, it's a triangle with several dies. So the first process we did is to spend time to understand how this pattern can be formed. So this die, what you see over here, it is not simply done out of some available thing. We called up a machine manufacturer, and he came with an idea to say, yes, presently I do not have any machine which can do this process because the metal have to be embossed, and with the 2 steps of embossing plus a cutout. So it was a special task even given to the machine manufacturer at this stage. He said he's willing to do, and they came with a temporary solution for the mock-up. So we started from here, understanding the process. The main element of the facade was taken. So the first samples came out. So we reviewed the sample with the architect whether it is fine. If you watch it closely, you can see it. See the triangle what you saw before as a die. Now it has been punched on a metal. But what we have done first, we have done a trial in an aluminum sheet. Because if we go with the designer's idea of having a stainless steel, economics will not work for the facade because it is too expensive. However, as a facade contractor, we have to follow the initial idea given by the consultant. So we have taken this opportunity. We said, sir, we will propose an alternate as well as a solution. So we prepared alternate solution parallelly. So initially we had stainless steel of 20 millimeter thick as per the designer's idea, but we made it to a sheet, and we found the solution in Asia, where they were able to do the same aesthetic but using different methodology of fabrication. So this alternate material, once it was done, you can see the sample, final sample approved. So the dies were corrected, perfected, everything was done, then we were ready to go. But at the same time, designer was not convinced. He said, Salom, we need to have the whole facade in stainless steel. So what we can do? So immediately the process was revisited, and we worked out a budget to the client immediately. Within the next few days on the table, we went for discussion. So stainless steel, this is the cost. Aluminum, this will be the cost. Because now we came to know the actual cost. So client said, sorry, we will not be able to offer. All these are happening during concept stage still. We are not into the building. The building is not built yet, but at the concept stage. So then this alternate solution was taken up with a condition that a designer will review this, whether he, after reviewing with stainless steel, if he likes it, if the team likes it, they say we will go forward. Otherwise, there was a situation where A designer didn't agree because he felt it is his dream. Nobody can disturb it because that's what he visualized. That's what he wanted to sell. But we are giving an alternate solution, and it was possible because of the facade contractor was early on the board. If it would have been anybody else, what they would have done, they would have gone ahead with the same vision of the architect and designer to the buildability stage, where we will start to find this is not going to be feasible. Then we have to sacrifice the facade. But in this case, we avoided everything because we planned early, a mock-up was called early, and everything was done. So the next step what we did, we started fabricating bigger sheets, because the idea is to mask portion of the building to a live size model. So the sheets were embossed. You can see different cuttings and other things. Now, still we cannot say no to the designer because he wanted stainless steel. So we also took stainless steel and we followed the same process with the machine, and we made a stainless steel panel as well. The challenge I personally gave to the designer was, we'll put this in the facade. If you can find out which is stainless steel and which is aluminum, then we will study it in depth, so we can change it at later stage. So the mock-up was done now with stainless steel as well as aluminum. So the different views of the stainless steel panel, what you see in the rear view, this is there in the front. From inside of the building, this is what you see. See, now you can see the live mock-up there, where the glass panels are already been installed with acoustic glass, what we said, and we are going to attach this screen 600 millimeter away from the wall. So these photos were taken during construction of this mock-up. Now you can see the mock-up, which is almost completed. Anybody can trace in this elevation which is stainless steel and which is aluminum? I doubt so, because the matching of aluminum was done so perfectly to mimic the stainless steel. It was hard to find in elevation. So the mock-up was done. See how close we were. On the left, what you see is a rendered image of the mock-up what architect wanted to build. On the right, what you see is a real mock-up which was built. So we are still at the concept stage of the project. We never gone to build anything except this mock-up. It's a simulation what you see here, but it is built to the scale. So these are different views. In the night we put some lights and other things. So the whole facade was done, and a client reviewed the mock-up. So after reviewing the mock-up, then we came to a conclusion to tell, yes, we agree with the alternate design provided. We agree with the metal which is being used, except few fine-tuning detail, like interfacing details and other, feasibility detail, like, how to maintain the building, how people can pass through for maintenance, and what are the methodology we can use for making this panel, because there are 6,700 of them. Okay, each panel got different nomenclature. So it was all possible because of this early involvement of a facade contractor on board, early involvement of all the team members on board, before even we thought we want to build the building. So this short case study proved a client was able to do the project. Unfortunately, this building was not done on time, but however, they managed to do it on time, better than what other projects are done, but was done within the budget, was done to the better view of the design, what architect envisaged, and finally, it came out to be one of our best building. So my contention here, my view here, after this one of the projects I can say, but there are several projects of this kind has been done in India. I would really look at how we can improve this in future. Any building you take, I have shown a complex building doesn't mean we have to adopt this principle only for a complicated project. As we are running out of skilled resource, as we are running out of expertise in the field, to get a better yield, to get a better use of time for everybody, I would rather recommend this model be followed by every big developer and the development and the client, so that our time constraints, our commercials, our quality of the work, everything can be improved upon to the best possible buildings can be ever built. So adopting this to a new building which is going to come in future, we find a better result. If you look at the commercials from this angle in India, how it can help. See, once the designer does everything, he has put in his efforts. But the same project, I take it for a discussion now on the other way around, how it would have happened in India. This project would have been done and the consultant would have put up all the documents. That would have taken up 1 full year time, say a 1 year time. So 1 year of time has been invested by everybody in the team, and then what happens is then they go and propose this to the client. So after 1 year, what client will look at it, he will say immediately after reviewing the budget, if he would have gone with the same stainless steel as per the designer's vision, he would say, sorry, I'm not going to get this built because it's too expensive. Because at that stage still, the designer will know only a 20 mm solid aluminum sheet as per his design view. So straight away this project would have been knocked off, but after 1 year of this hard work, so designer have to go back to the drawing board. Either he proceeds further or the project will be stalled, would have been stalled. So any project of this kind, when we try to take, not only this, and even a simple building, to do an early planning, to involve the facade contractors early in the project, for sure every client, every designers will reap a huge benefit out of the whole process. But today, if I take example, a building which need to be done in 2 years, our pre-planning in India is called 1 year plus, or say 14 months on the drawing board, where we go back and forth, approval, government approval, everything. So 1 year gone, we are left with maybe hardly 10 months. Then everything will be rushed. And worst of all is the facade contractor will be engaged in the last 4 months. I'm not talking about in general, I'm just talking about mainly most of the buildings are done this way. And you will not be surprised to hear a facade contractor will be brought on board once the structure is 100% finished. So what he does, he will go, he will check the building, he will find, he need to modify the system, he need to modify the bracket because the slab is out, the concrete is out. So there are a lot of factors. I cannot spend time on this forum within 1 hour. By doing pre-planning, you can avoid all these mistakes. All the time which is going to be spent by everybody in the team can be utilized to a proper, feasible and viable solution. So what I would request, who are all participating in this forum, is to take it forward and try it out. For sure you all will start to see the yield. I can just talk only about facade because I know only facade. But if you can start early, involving people early, getting the team early into the process before even we can think of digging the ground, I believe in India we can start to see much more quality oriented buildings than what we see nowadays. So with the challenge up in front of us and many of these kinds of projects which are going to come in future, I would like to call it to a conclusion. If we can work as a team from day one, the achievement what you see live here can be repeated in most of the projects what we do in future in India. And this is the practice what most of the clients and architects they practice abroad. And in India, yes, some clients they do so, but I believe if you can have this practice completely in India, we can change the way we work. We can change the environment we work in, and all our time can be better used, and we can get a better yield. So with this short brief, I can go on length, and that this presentation can be carried on much more in detail, and we can debate this for long. But the idea behind this forum is to enlighten all the participants to say early planning and an early involvement of a contractor on board during the concept stage for sure will give a better yield in form of quality, in form of cost saving, in form of building good complex buildings in India. Thank you all for listening to me for these 40 minutes. I would like to take up questions if you have. You can raise your hands in the forum, or you can type it over the chat column what you have in your screen. Yes, I am ready to take questions. We'll take one by one. Do you want tea or coffee? Hi, Shreya. Hello. Hello. Is this Shreya? Hello. Not audible. Hello. Okay. So, Mr. Sieran just saw his name. Yeah. Yes, unmute you. Hello. Good evening, sir. Sir, good evening.
Yes, good evening.
Sir, how are you, sir?
Good evening. Hello.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me, sir? Is it mute? No.
Hello.
Hello. Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. 1 minute. So I hear Selvam Balu and our team, Mr. Anand, are also here.
Yes, sir.
Hello, Mr. Selvam. How are you?
I'm fine, sir. Please tell me, sir. So you're requesting how the sheet joints are handled. These joints were open joints, sir. In the external, if you see, we were given a tolerance of 3 millimeter between the patterns to work. So it's a very a unique joint we prepared for this project. Otherwise, if I start to put any bench sheet or sealant on the joint, the whole pattern would have lost. So we created a very unique joint in this scheme because it's all done with CNC. So we made a hook-on system with a catch. So the whole facade, what you see there, has been engineered with the CATIA software, where we managed to do it to the accuracy what designers has given. So there is no seal and nothing. It's an open joint.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We'll take up Dave. The others will hear me as well. Hi, Mr. Dave. Hello, Mr. Dave.
Hi, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. Yes. I'm just picking up your question. Yes, there are...
Yeah, basically what happened, given the example, so I just wanted to know that, is there any case study or is there any project where we have taken the facade contractor on board at an initial stage?
Yes.
So that,
there are a lot of projects I can highlight, but I can't reveal the names too much.
No problem.
But in India, if I give a number, I can say during this past 10 years, personally, I would have handled, say roughly about 38 projects so far. I'm talking about medium size and big project, out of which 80% of them were done in this fashion. So it is.
So what do you think, like the comparison between the project where the facade contractor was not taken on the board at the initial stage versus the facade
you had me. This project would have been stalled. The project what I showed you as a case study, if the contractor would have never been engaged during the concept stage, the whole project would have never been taken place, because the initial cost of the project based on the designer's idea was almost like 6-7 times to what has been achieved.
Yeah.
So it was possible because of a facade contractor, because it's nothing wrong in having a consultants on board, but they are limited. See, consultants can give you an overview of the facade, they can give you some detail, but the limitation what they have is the working experience and the workability. Okay. If you have watched this process completely, what the designers have done is they engaged a contractor to build their vision, physically build it. So during concept stage, what they are doing is they are building a life-size mock-up to understand whether it is feasible or not, whether client like it or not. So it was sold finally. And it works. And it works. Hope I answered your question. Thank you, sir. Next one.
Yes, thanks.
Thank you. Hello, Mr. Gaurav. Mr. Gaurav, are you there? Okay, I can't hear you. Your question is, what are the other roadblocks you feel apart from architect's perceptions and executability of facade? Sir, there is no road blockage at all in this process. What I start to feel is it's the understanding of how a building can be built. See, architects, they are visionaries. They come with their dream. Every building they build is their dream. And when they come forward, they are not getting enough support in India. Always what happens, they get to a point where the building becomes too complicated and it has to be executed yesterday. So I don't see a blockage, rather it is a process. If we all can start adopting it, we can have a good building. But I can't hear you, Mr. Gaurav. I hope I answered your question. I would like to click Tariq. Tariq, he is from States. Hello, Tariq. Can you hear me? Hello, Tariq. Mr. Tariq Sharway. I can't hear you. Okay, cool. I will type the message for you. Maybe I can talk. See the cost difference between the stainless steel and the screen, what you see here, it's almost 10 times to the aluminum to there. You know, if you take it in dollar, I can say roughly about, see, $400 to $1,200, roughly 3 times. So this was the difference you had for this project. Okay, then we take up Vinod. Hi, Mr. Vinod. Mr. Vinod, are you there?
Hi.
You can hear me? Hello? Okay, you can hear me. Okay. Your question is, I'm from right. I'm just reading your question. Your question is, I'm from wind engineering consultant firm. We usually provide cladding load in 2D elevation. How it is usually taken care of, like each floor with different properties of glass to withstand. Wow, this is a very interesting topic, Vinod. I go through this in most of the building, but there is a wrong presumption as well by most of the engineers who design facades here. You know, when you do this beautiful wind tunnel test, especially in India, I believe it is not really that viable. We had long debate on this. See, if you take a facade, you know, there are a lot of surrounding buildings or even the nomenclature of the terrain can change the wind factors in the building. I've been doing a study for past 3-4 years after there was this Neelam cyclone which hit south of India, which is Chennai region. I was completely taken back because the wind load and the terrain conditions are completely absurd. You know, it happens once in a lifetime, but taking a wind load for a building, we have to be very conservative. But at the same time, if we come to a conclusion to tell, based on the wind model, I'm going to design the facade. Say at the ground floor, I do for 1 kPa, and you know, when I go reach the 30th floor, I go and do for 6 kPa, which is not practically viable in facade systems. It is not about cost saving because, you know, you don't save too much money by changing or applying these wind pressures drastically in small buildings. But if you're talking about tall structures, if there is a requirement to strengthen localized areas, you can strengthen them. But changing the building nomenclature by changing the mullion depth, see, to cater your wind load, you need a depth in the mullion. So you can't have a different depth, or, you know, it will affect the whole process. And it's not really commercially viable also. So I hope I have answered your question. If you have any particular doubt, you can write to me. I can share my case studies with you so you can understand much better. Thank you. No, it's okay. Take Henry is my. I'm taking up a question from Ms. Meenakshi Samani. Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Good evening, ma'am.
Hello?
Yes.
Good evening, sir.
Your question is, sometimes client refuse to involve any consultant at initial stage. Ma'am, you saw the live example. Within 40 minutes, what you would have realized?
Yeah, yes, but sometimes if they refuse to take consultants in initial stage, what we can do?
No, it is not what we can do. You know, we have to come with a process and explain to them. It is awareness which is killing us really in this industry. Client have to be told the benefits. Okay. We all have to work together to tell the client what are the benefits to have a consultant.
Yeah.
Early stage.
Still, we can do the mock-up from others, contractor, and execution can be done by others. Is that will that be a same process, or will that create some problem?
No, no problem. Involving them at earlier stage, always there is a big benefit. See, as I shown this project, this project would have never been built if a facade contractor was not there. Let me be honest.
Okay.
So it is
I mean
possible.
to say
and we can-
there.
Please.
Okay. I mean to say there will be a facade contract in initial stage, but then if they're just doing a mock-up and the execution stage, if someone else is doing the project, what will that be affecting the project?
No, 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 it cannot be. See, what you are going to do, first we are going to
Okay.
build a mock-up. Doesn't matter if the same facade contractor is going to do or not.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Okay.
A facade is built. So what will happen is you are going to bring the new contractor and tell him this is what exactly I want. Instead of showing him the rendering, showing him the detail, you would have
Okay.
tested all your material, you would have seen all the details. So you bring them to the site or wherever you have done the mock-up and show him this is what I want you to tender for. So there is no
Okay.
confusion at all. So this is a better way to build any buildings.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. I hope I answered your
Thank
question.
You. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, yes, sir. Definitely. Thank you.
Hi, Mr. Madhu Chandhok. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Mrs. Madhuchandok.
Yes, Ms.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, ma'am. Is the new construction technology of facade construction and the prototype concept as shared in your presentation discussed with the architects to be aware to have better conceptual designs which are schematic friendly? Yes, ma'am. You know, I mean, if I rephrase your question properly, we have taken schematics and we made it to be an buildable design. See, when architects are coming
No,
with
actually,
yeah.
my question actually, maybe I've not been able to put it correctly, was that if the architect during his conceptual stage, when he is conceptualizing the facade design, is aware of the various technologies that are coming in the country and the ability and the advantages of all this, then probably his thoughts can get into a more practical approach in terms of his imagination as well. You know,
Ma'am, if I answer your question correctly, there will be a yes and a no. Yes, the architects will be aware of the new technologies because, you know, most of the time what happens is they work in an office environment where all the suppliers, they go and sell their product. They go and show them, you know, different products. But the no for me is they will be very reluctant to take any new systems or technology into experiment. This is the major drawback what we have in India. The simple reason is there are a lot of new variant products available and different things are, you know, different types of facade elements are done today out of India. But the awareness can come only by an experienced contractor who would have built abroad. Say, example here, if you see, mostly you will see what, you will see glass, reflective glass, and then composite metal. That's, you know, if you take 100 projects, 80 of them are of that kind. And then you can see a little bit of granite into facade. That's all we know. But, you know, if you go outside India, you know, any material you think it can be put on facade. So the yes is, yes, they are aware as a paper, but no, they cannot adopt it because they do not have an experienced contractor on board with them to help them during the concept stage. So by adopting this, you know, method of getting the contractor at early stage with them, I believe we can change the way the buildings are going to look in India.
Yes, because I am also a firm believer that the prototype is a very important milestone.
Yes,
for any
exactly.
design.
Yeah, exactly. And why you have to leave the prototype? Why you have to leave the prototype at the fag end? It should be done at the concept stage. This is the difference. Today, when we do the prototype, after we award the contract, after the building is built, then we engage a facade contractor and say, okay, put 5-6 different types of glass in my building. That's too late. That's too late. You should have done that during the concept itself. Build a small, it doesn't cost you anything.
Yeah.
But you have saved everybody's
I think-
time.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
I hope I answered your
Thank you.
question.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Take one more. Okay, anything else? Yeah, answers. I will take up Mr. Henry D'Souza's question. Hi, Henry. Hello.
Hi, sir.
How are you?
Hello, yes, sir.
Good.
Thank you.
Sir, your question is quite straight, but I believe if we practice a good ethics in business, we should be able to do it right. See, your question is, okay, a facade contractor do all this uh, building of mock-up, do all the job in the upfront, and if he doesn't get the job, nothing wrong in it. Nothing wrong at all, because as long as he is paid for the mock-up, he doesn't lose money. Where is the technology coming to place? Yes, of course, the ideas can be stolen in the future, but when you work with the team, the understanding have to be there with the team. When I say the team, the architect and the client have to agree from day one that, I'm engaging a contractor where I'm going to work with him openly. It's more of relationship building exercise with the client and the team, where the client can bring you all the way as a contractor. But at the same time, you can't expect the facade contractor who's engaged to build the mock-up can be the one who will be awarded the project. There can be problems. However, you are paid to do a mock-up, so you should be happy with it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Who else? Taking a question from Mr. Nilesh Sachdev. Mr. Nilesh, are you there? Mr. Nilesh? Yes, Mr. Nilesh. Your question is, in this particular case, what was the thickness of the aluminum sheet proposed to be used? Yes? Hello? Hello?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. So here we used only a 3 millimeter thick aluminum sheet for this particular project. Because the embossing depth required was 6 mm, so we have to use a 3 mm sheet to get that embossed depth. Because architect didn't want too much of embossment as well.
True. No, but initially the proposal was for 20 mm SSC.
Yes, exactly. The designer, he came with the idea because, what he did, he took a 20 millimeter solid sheet and he machined out this embossed metal. If you would have seen my presentation closely, because that's a limitation of the designer, when they had this idea, they don't have this practical experience. So their idea was to take a 20 mm sheet and grave out. It would have been nicer, but we have to be practical as well, am I right?
True, true.
Yeah.
And
Finally,
one more question.
yes.
I could see that plain sheet has been used for vertical surfaces in the curves.
Mm-hmm.
Hello?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. The pattern sheet is used for the front facade area, while plain sheet is used in the curved parts.
You are talking about the inner side of the curve.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, it is just a ledge they created.
Yeah, true. But the same question, how is it one anchored to the other? Are they jointed or they're just placed
They
nearby?
are, no. They are completely welded, lineage and
Okay.
joint. Okay, what happened is this metal sheet when we did, to mimic the stainless steel look, we are adopted to go for a very special coating process. So we have adopted the, we have taken a PVDF, but it's a very special paint developed for this project,
Okay.
where, the whole sheet has been welded, lineaged. It's like making your car. So that's how it was done, we made everything then sent for coating. So it's all welded with a mechanical joint, yes.
You can weld aluminum as well?
Yes, why not? Your cars,
Oh, okay.
Most of your new cars are done with aluminum
Yeah. True.
building.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I'm answering a question by Ms. Smita Vijay Kumar. Hello? Hello? Madam, are you there? Hello? Nobody there? Oh? She can. Hello? I'm answering a question of Ms. Smita Vijay Kumar. Are you still online, ma'am? Hello? Okay. Sorry. No mic. Okay, I can talk then. See, ma'am, your question you have asked here. 1 second, I scroll. Okay. Your case study has a glass wall behind the screen. However, sometimes there is a solid wall behind. How do you manage waterproofing, especially when the outer wall is a stone wall with open joints? Yes, there are a lot of ways you can do, ma'am. Like, if you want to hang a granite off the wall, your wall have to be internally waterproof, because stone is an permeable substrate. It means it will absorb water. And if you tell me that you're going to apply a repellent to the granite where to keep the water away, it's a mistake. See, applying any form of coating onto the natural stone will not give any good yield, because stone will absorb water, and day by day it will just devaporize, so you don't have to worry about it. But when you talk about the wall behind, it has to be a waterproofed wall. So applying a granite on front facade with an open joint, it is a must for you to have the backup wall which is 100% watertight. Hope I have answered your question. Yeah, I'm done. Now I will maintenance cost. No. Asking question. Mr. Gaurav, are you there? Gaurav, are you there?
Hello.
Yes,
Yeah,
Gaurav.
good evening, sir.
Good evening. I'm answering another question of yours. See, this SS metal, it's aluminum metal what we had finally. When you say shading device, there is a separator, there's a thermal break to the system. So literally the heat is not transferred into the building. Okay, internally you had that glass wall which is a performance glass. So the external one is just a rain screen and acts as a shading device which is thermally separated.
But definitely it will gain some heat, no? Because it's metal, it will gain some and it will add to the glass.
But it is not enclosed. It is to the natural air. It just goes around. Okay, it is an external part of the building where you have a cavity in front of the wall, which is a 600 mm cavity. So the natural air itself cools down the system. So you don't really get the heat to travel through this to the glass. Okay, internally if you see in the building you had a glass wall, which is a double low silver glass which reflects the heat away. But this acts as a shading device not to let the heat to go in. So no heat is transferred to this.
like any sort of analysis was done for this?
Of course, they have done plenty.
So, like before, like without the setting device and with the setting device.
Of course, if you see this whole texture of the building, it has been analyzed to the detail where we can't even believe ourselves. The study is done by a consultant from New York, and they have masked the whole building in a new software. And if you see all these literations done in the trillium pattern, they are done using CATIA, the software, which is used in aeronautical engineering. So the literations and the parametric modeling is done with sophisticated softwares to adjust that light along with the pattern. If you watch the pattern very closely, you can see some patterns are sealed and some patterns had some opening. So those are all done based on the studies.
If it's like that, but where is this project actually?
Sorry, I didn't get permission from the client. That's why I didn't put the project name.
Okay.
I will send a mail to you all. I just thought of sharing it. But the building is already done. It's 3 years old, 5 years old, I think. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I'm taking one last question with Mr. Joseph Agustin. Hi, Mr. Joseph, are you there? Hello? Hello, Mr. Joseph? No mic. Cool. I hope you can hear me. Yes, Mr. Joseph, we have been, during my tenure in India, I came to India in 2003. Since then, tall structures, maybe I would have done few in Mumbai, 6 or 7 of them. Yes, about 30 floors. You're right. About 30 floors. So yes, as a contractor, yes, we do have experience. No issue with that. But a lot of tall buildings are coming up. We have the expertise to do it. Thank you. If you have any questions, Mr. Joseph, you can send it to my mail ID. Was wind load accounted? Yes, exactly. Most of the buildings I have done, I have always insist the client to do a wind tunnel test. Yes, few of them they have done, and based on that only we have taken the whole design into consideration. A lot of you are asking for my mail ID later. Maybe I can share it here. You can send your queries if you have anything to this ID. You can send your queries to this mail ID. Okay, one more last question. A few more. Anuprati. I'm taking this question by Anuprati. Hi ma'am, are you there? Hello? Okay, no mic, cool. Is there a need to ventilate the double facade if in case there comes a possibility of overheating due to conventional glass? Wow, your double skin facade is designed to do a normal ventilation. What sort of facade you want to operate? Are you trying for an active wall or an inactive wall? You can type your answer. Your question. If you are doing an active wall, it means like you have two skins, and if you want to take the external air through your cavity, and circulate it in the cavity to reduce the heat, then you can do so. But if you have a conventional glass inside, when you say conventional glass, your heat gain will be very high because you are also trapping the heat in the cavity. So it is advisable to have and control the glass on your inner light, and externally you can have a cut-off glass, a little bit cut-off, not too much reflective. So you cut down the heat passing through this and you let the external air to pass through the cavity, so you can reduce the complete heat traveling to the second pane. So you will not have a overheating if you design it properly. Hope you got my answer. It's time off. I think I've taken 11 minutes more. Thank you all. If you have any queries, you can send to me. Otherwise, I hope you all would have taken some message back home, and let's practice this in the future. Thank you all. Yeah, and we have another 3 more sections which will be more interesting, which will be practical sections, like next month we'll have one and following month we'll have one. There I will try to give you more insight of how you manage the contracts, how you can do a quality audit, and how we can add more value to the client, the end users. So I hope to see you all again next month. Thank you. Yeah, your presentation slides will be sent to you all by mail. If you have any doubts, you can write to me. Yes, my mail ID is selvam.r27@gmail.com. Thank you all, because the time has run off. So if you have anything, please share with me. Bye.